Hey everybody, welcome to Eringy. I am Erin and this is beautiful Teddy. Welcome to Yoga for Scoliosis. So scoliosis is where there is abnormality in the curvature of the spine, and it's generally like a sideways sort of positioning, and it's a very common condition. Often get it when we're adolescents, but we can still get it when we're adults as well. And yeah, it can be quite an uncomfortable condition depending on how severe it is. So for me, my scoliosis shows up in the cervical area of the spine, so it's the upper part. And from that, I just generally get a fair bit of neck issues and shoulders as well, considering it's all supported, it's all connected. Your scoliosis might be showing up elsewhere, so maybe the lumbar, the thoracic, your sacral. But either, the purpose of the practice today is to bring strength to those muscles that typically support the spine, and also we're going to bring in some flexibility and fluidity to the movements as well as you connect to your breath, because the breath is really going to be your guide here as well. And hey, if you don't have scoliosis and you've just come here because you just want to bring health to the spine as well, you're going to benefit from this as well. Okay, so this is not exclusively for those who have scoliosis. Okay, now the last thing before we get started is just you may need a block. So if you're feeling a bit tentative about today's practice and you just kind of want to move with this more of a gentle approach, not that we're going to be doing it, aggressively though, but if you want to do it more gentle, highly recommend that you grab a block. And I'm going to show you a couple of poses where you can utilize the block as an extra support, an extension of these poses that we're going to do. It's not necessary though, it's just totally up to your practice. So that being said, roll out your mat and let's get started. Alrighty, so let's get started in thunderbolt pose. So you're going to be sitting up on your onto your knees, or your butt is going to be sitting up on the heels. Okay, and really this is just about being mindful about how the spine is elongated. How much length are you bringing to the spine? How much strength that you can hold within the core, within the shoulders, around the rib cage. Okay, so yeah, so we're just going to be focusing on the different areas of the spine today with all these different poses. So in your thunderbolt pose, just take some breaths here. And then your shoulders are going to come up to the ears and then back again. So just sort of creating some circles with our shoulders and bringing the shoulder blades together and then expanding them. And if you feel any creaking, a little bit of cracking, that's all right. As long as it's not painful, that's the main thing. I'm going to really, really listen to the body today. So I'm just not going to push it because, your back is structured in a way that it is. And but we want to kind of create more strength in those areas that are not so strong, and flexibility in those areas that are just not as flexible. Okay, but we're going to do it from a gentle perspective. Okay, let's go the other way now. Moving the shoulders up and then forwards. Letting our body know this is the area that we're going to be working on. All right, just be mindful about how the rest of you, midline of the back is feeling, how you're sort of supporting yourself here. All right, awesome. Let's just sort of shake the arms a little bit. Move some energy around. Beautiful. Okay, so we're just going to drop our chin down to the chest and then start to create sort of circles around toward the right shoulder and then looking up. Now over down to the left shoulder and then back to center. So again, getting into the upper part of the spine the cervical part. Let's do one more round. Crunch, crunch. And now we're going to go the other way now. Over to the left, up to the right. We're also going to be using our breath as well, so check in, how's that breath going? Wonderful, good. Come back into your neutral position. Bring your hands out and up. Take a big inhale. Take hold of the opposite elbows. And then we're just going to bend over to the right. Find a nice stretch in the left side of the body here. Take an inhale as you come back to center. And then exhale over to the left. Good. Inhale back to center. Bring the hands all the way up now. Interlace the fingers. Have your index fingers pointing up and the left, whichever one. The thumbs just cross over one another. Inhale, come over to the right. Keep those sit bones nice and grounded onto the heels. Inhale to center. Exhale over to the left. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale, release the hands. Awesome. Come onto all fours onto your tabletop position. Wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Find some length. So really try to engage the abdominal muscles here, so your core. So we're really kind of grounding down through our hands, but also the tops of our feet. And then from here, I invite you just to create some movement in the hips. Okay, so you can sort of move your hips from left to right. So essentially, we're just kind of creating a little bit of movement in the spine, just warming up the cushioning in between the vertebrae, getting that fluid movement. And make sure it's not dumping down into the shoulders. So you're still pressing yourself away from the mat, from the floor beneath you. And really try to now, as you've created a little more heat, exaggerate this movement even more. So you might want to look behind you. Beautiful. And because when we're sort of focusing on scoliosis, we're not really trying to get straightening of the spine. What we're trying to do is condition the muscles more, so you can find some flexibility and also strength, like strength to be able to support yourself through the spine. Okay, now from here, let's just sort of come back to that neutral position in your tabletop and move yourself into the cat and cow flow. So come into cow. So you're going to drop that belly down, lift the tailbone up, reach up through the palms and look up. And then as you exhale, round through that spine of yours, that beautiful spine, tuck the tailbone in and try to draw your navel in towards the spine here. You can look behind you. Coming back now into cow, inhale, drop the belly down, look forwards or up, exhale, navel to spine into the cat. So how about you continue this beautiful flow with your breath and really try to send some beautiful love. Your breath can be your love. Send some love to the spine, to the muscles that support that area, to the core, intercostal muscles, trapezius, all those good things. Okay, one more round. Awesome, good. Come back to your table and now grab your block and place it under your left palm. Okay, so the lowest setting. Okay, so your left palm or hand is going to sort of press down on it. You're going to take your left leg behind you. So straighten that out, have the toes pointing down. And this might be enough for you. So if you want to just sort of stay here or not even use the block, it's totally up to you. We're going to try to move into balancing table if you're ready and happy to do that. Okay, so to do that, we're going to lift that back leg up, straighten it out with the toes pointing still down. And then when you found your stability and you're really pressing through that left hand, reach your right hand forward. Okay, so really pressing up through there, lifting that back leg, straightening out the right arm, sending some energy. So imagine some energy moving all the way from the back heel through the midline of that spine, through the right shoulder and out through the fingertips. Take a full breath in and then release the hand and leg down. Awesome. Okay, so moving the block away now, back into your tabletop. Going to come into a variation of side plank. So to do that, just take your left leg back out again. So you're straightening it out, but just keep it on the floor. And then you're going to pivot your right leg. So the knee of the right leg stays where it is, but the rest of the lower part of that leg is going to pivot so that it is now on the outer side of your long edge of the mat. So you can sort of see that you're basically going to twist your body. So now that my left foot is now planted nice and firmly on the floor and my right knee is pointing the other side of the long edge of the mat. Okay, so we're going to sort of press through the right arm. So you're making sure that your shoulder's in line with the right wrist. Okay, yep, awesome. And then take some energy with you and open up here. Okay, beautiful. You can look up to your fingertips if you'd like. Really keep grounding down and just be mindful about where the spine is feeling right now. How is this going for you? You can stay here or you can take that raised arm up and overhead. Really find the stretch in the left side of the body here. You're really grounding through. Doing really good. Keep that breath going. Take a full breath in. And as you exhale, allow your arm to come back up. Look down towards your right hand and then just sort of bring everything back into the tabletop position that you're in before. Okay, beautiful. So we have an option here. If you want to redo that side plank variation, go for it and sort of practice moving the arm, the raised arm forward and then back up towards the sky. The other version is that we can do the full plank as well. So if you're deciding to do that, what I invite you to do is let's come into plank pose. Okay, so plank pose, take your hand, one hand print forward, tuck the back toes and then come into the plank position. So you might just need to readjust in terms of where it's feeling good as far as the body. Even if you just want to stay in plank, that's also a good thing. It's really going to strengthen the shoulders here and strengthen the core, so that's a good thing. But let's go into our side plank. So take your right hand, place it under your face, and then we're going to take our feet into the center of the mat, so bring them together. Beautiful. And then we're going to come onto the outer edge of the right foot. We're going to twist our entire body over onto our right foot. That's it. And then we reach into our side plank. So if you're wobbling, like I am, totally fine. Try and hike up the hips even more, okay? Take a full breath in. Breathe it out. One more breath. Good. Now look down at your right hand and then slowly with care come back into your plank position and then drop the knees back down into your tabletop. So you're just going to have a bit of a rest here. You might want to, again, add some movement. How did that feel? So even if this is the first time that you've done like a class for scoliosis and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is a little tricky, this is hard, just be aware that we have to start somewhere. you know, and most of the time it's about practice. So you can come back to this class again and again, and you might find after a while that, you know, you don't need the block. And even if you do need it all the time, there's nothing wrong with that either. Alrighty, brilliant. Okay, so we're going to do that on the other side. Okay, so take your block again. This time I'm going to place it on the right side, lowest setting, right hand on there. Stretch out the right leg this time. Find that half balance table here. If you'd like to keep it there, that's totally cool. Otherwise, lift that right leg up. Try and see if you can parallel it to the floor. Really use the top of the left foot to kind of ground yourself down as well as your right palm. And then when you feel comfortable here, reach that left arm out, straighten it out. That's it. So really pushing that block away from you, pressing through the top of the left foot, sending some energy from the back heel all the way through the midline of that gorgeous spine of yours and through the shoulder and the left fingertips. Take a full breath in and then exhale, release it back down. You can move that block off the mat if you need to. Going to come into our variation of side plank. Stretch out that right leg this time. I'm going to pivot the left leg, so it's going to come off the mat, and we're going to slide our way, slide our upper body over and up. So our right foot rather, is nice and grounded onto the floor. And then when you feel really good here and you know that your wrist is stacked beneath your shoulder of the left, take some energy with you and really open up here. Come to that breath. And just sort of feel what the body is saying to you in this moment. Listen. Make so many adjustments that you feel you need to. If you'd like to take that lifted arm up and overhead, feel free to do that. Really draw the shoulder blades toward one another. Kind of twist it out a little bit. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Inhale the arm back up. Look down towards your mat. And then bring everything back together into your tabletop position. Okay, so here's the invitation again. You can do that variation that we've just done. Once again, play around with where you'd like to put your arms. Have a feel as to where your back is going, you know, how your spine feels. Or we can come into the side plank. Alrighty, so if that's what you've chosen, take your hands, one handprint forward, lift yourself into plank. So you need to adjust the feet just a little bit so that you are feeling fully aligned here. Now bring the toes together, center of the mat. Left hand comes down underneath your face. And then we're just going to pivot onto the outer edge of the left foot here. Nice strong core, right arm up, hike the hips up. Zip up the legs. Keep breathing. You've got this. Keep nice and strong in the shoulders here. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Breathe in, look down towards the mat, and then bring yourself back into plank once again, and then come on down to your tabletop position. Yee! Okay, and again, finding some movement. You know, we've got, you know, spinal waves, you know, like the spine is not actually straight. So we're not trying to get that straightness. We're trying to find some flow, some movement. So use tabletop as a way of just integrating movement into the spine, and movement that feels a little weird because it's often like we do things in our daily life that are often the same things. So therefore we're sort of moving our body in the same way. So I really would love for you to just explore this. Find a different kind of movement that's sort of speaking to you right now. Beautiful. So from this position, we're going to come into puppy pose. So you're going to walk your hands forwards. And if you start to kind of bend the hips down or sort of drop the hips down towards the heel, you're going to find that your hips are probably still a little bit not quite in line with the knees. So if that's the case, you're going to walk those legs back as well. So the idea here is that you need to keep in mind that your hips are going to be in line with the knees. Once you feel like you've got that, you can begin to start to bend down, allowing the chest to come down toward the mat and really spread wide through the fingers. And then just allow your chest to go down as far as it feels it needs to go, and as well as your head. So you might not be able to reach the mat itself, and that is totally okay. Okay, so we're really just allowing our upper body to melt down. We're getting into the shoulders here. So part of the cervical spine is being stimulated. We're also finding a little bit of curvature too in the lumbar and the thoracic area as we reach our hips up towards the sky, particularly your sacrum, your tailbone. Let's stay here for a few breaths. Maybe just add a bit of a wave to the spine. As you breathe in, you sort of come up a little bit, and then as you breathe out, you drop down a little deeper into the pose. Take a full breath in and just let it go. Good. Inhale, come back into your table position. Then we're going to move into downward facing dog. So one handprint forward, tuck the toes, big inhale as you lift your hips up. So this is our first down dog. So keep the knees bent for a moment. And we're just going to see how you go by straightening out the spine here. So it's like you're pressing the floor away from you and hinging the hips back. So you're really pressing not only through the palms and the four corners of the hands, but also through the hips as well. Okay, so find some length here. Lengthen through the spine, but just relax the neck. Keep the knees bent. Take a breath here. And exhale it out. Okay, inhale and look forward, and then start to walk towards the top of the mat here. And then we're just going to grab that block of yours. I'm going to come into sort of a version of a forward fold, sort of like an in-between a half lift and a forward fold. So place your block on the highest setting in front of you, below your face. Now check in with your feet, ensure they are hip distance apart. And then we're just going to allow ourselves to place our palms on top of that block and just allow yourself to find a little bit more space in the spine area, straightening it out and really extend through the crown so you're not scrunching into the neck here. If you need to add a bit of a bend in the knees, you're very welcome to do that. So we're really just exploring, how does this feel? This is all about exploration as well. If the highest setting feels like it's too high, you can always put it on the medium setting as well, and hinge at the hips even more so if that feels good. It's really just about experimenting, really, being mindful about how each particular position feels and how the body responds. So really kind of allowing ourselves to not fall into this pose, of course, but we're leaning down into that block, allowing our face to sort of come ahead of that block, but also grounding down through the feet. Take a full breath in and let's let it go. Beautiful. So take hold of that block and we're just going to slowly make our way up. Nice and slowly. So just let the blood flow settle, and also your spine. We're doing a bit of a lot of movement in the back, of course. Okay, so from here, I'd like you to take your block. I'm just going to stand over this way. Keep those feet hip distance apart. And you're going to take your block on the long side. Hands are going to come onto the smaller edges. And we're going to take an inhale, and as you breathe in, arms up and overhead. And then exhale over to the right, bending the top part of the body over, keeping the hips where they are. Keep pressing through the block. Take an inhale, bring yourself back to center, and then exhale over to the left. Inhale back to center, beautiful, and exhale, bring your hands down. So from here, I'm going to continue to hold on to that block. I'm going to take a big step back with the left leg. Okay, so kind of come into sort of like a low lunge here. Now, when you have found the ability to have your front knee stacked over the right ankles, you can pivot that back leg so that it comes at a 45-degree angle here. Really good. Okay, so from this position, we're going to come into a triangle. So take a small step, a little small step from the back leg. Straighten out that front leg. Beautiful. So now we've got our triangle pose here. Now, in terms of these hips, going to rotate them so that they're facing the long edge of the mat, okay? So hips are nice and in line with the long edge. Take a breath in, holding that block in the right hand, reach the arms out like a T. Lean over to the right. Upper body is leaning over to the right. And then exhale, bring the block down onto the inside of that right leg, and then come on up with the left arm, reaching up, pressing through down into that block. Finding a nice twist here. Really see if you can kind of draw those shoulder blades toward one another once again. Feeling a nice stretch in the lower part of the body too, especially your thighs. If you want to move that block onto a different setting, you're more than welcome to. So it's really listening to what the body is asking for. Take a full breath in and just breathe it out. On your next inhale, take hold of that block, engage the core, come back up. Excellent. Then bring your hands back down to maybe hips or wherever. So from here, we're going to come into extended side angle. So that back leg, you might need to heel toe it back just a little bit, keeping those toes still at a 45-degree angle. The front knee is now going to bend. So be wary of where that knee is in terms of how it's stacked above that ankle. Okay, so you're going to really sort of sink down into the hip creases here. Really getting into the lower back now. Okay, so when you've found your positioning, you're feeling pretty good. Take your arms back out to a T, holding onto that block at the front of the mat. Take a full breath in, and then exhale. Bring the right hand in front of the inside of the right leg. And then you're going to bring your left arm up once again. So it feels very similar to triangle, just with a bent leg here. And if you'd like, while you're here, you can extend that lifted arm up and overhead. So really imagine energy running from the back leg all the way up through that leg, through the side of the left body, out through the left hand. Take a breath here and just breathe it out. As you inhale, engage the core and lift yourself back up again. And then bring your hands back down. You can pop your block down and turn your toes so they're facing the long edge of the mat. And then we're just going to heel toe our feet toward each other. Keep the feet hip distance apart when you've arrived here. Brilliant. So finding that grounding, straighten up through the spine, maybe roll the shoulders up and down from the ears. So we're going to do what's called a sunrise flow. Okay, so On your next inhale, you're going to take your arms out and up overhead. Now, with your hands, you're going to place them so that the fingers are sort of on top of each other, and then the thumbs are over each other as well. So hopefully you can see that. Bring them up overhead. Now I'm going to twist your upper body, just the upper body, so the hips are staying where they are, but the rest of you is going to turn over to the left side. Take an inhale, and then exhale, come on down toward the left side, and we're just going to make a circle, so come into the center. Inhale as you're coming back up to the top. Take a breath in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to do one more. Take a breath here. Exhale it out. Inhale yourself back up again. And then release the hands down by your side. Exhale. Come back up to the top of the mat. And we're going to come into our forward fold with the block in front of us. And again, we're just going to find some length in the spine here. Again, feet hip distance apart, hinging at the hips as we come down, hands placing on the top of the block, whatever setting you've decided to use. Look, if you don't want to use blocks, you can come all the way down as well and just kind of hang out here as well. So really, I'm just demonstrating with the blocks because it's a really, really good starting point. And yeah, you can just sort of continue to use them as much as you need to. We're just going to let the spine rest here for a moment. But you're still engaging that core, so just try to bring the navel more toward the spine. Lengthen through the crown. Keep breathing. On your next inhale, take hold of the block and then come all the way up nice and slowly. Nice and slowly until you reach the top. Holding the block on the long edge now. I'll just come this way so that we can see. We're going to repeat what we've done on one side because we've got to balance everything out. Similar to how we sort of try to balance out the spinal and the curve within the spine. So as you inhale, bring your hands up overhead. Exhale over to the right. Inhale back to center. And then exhale over to the left. Inhale back up. And then bring your hands down as you exhale. Beautiful. From in this position, take a big step back with your right foot this time. You can bend that front knee if you need to. We're going to come into our extended triangle here. So in this position, you're going to pivot that back foot so it's 45 degrees. And you might need to step it up a little bit. Close the gap between the legs. Straighten that front leg. So now we're in triangle. Turn those hips, guide those hips to the long edge of the mat here. I'm going to take our block in our left hand this time, reach the arms out, take a full breath in, lean the upper body over to the left this time, and then the left hand goes into the inside of the left leg and the right arm comes up. Again, opening up through the chest and really extend that neck away from the shoulders. Find a beautiful stretch here. Take a full breath in and breathe it out. On your next inhale, engage the core, grab hold of that block, come on up again. And then exhale, bring your hands back down. And then come into, I always feel so rude not being facing you, come into our extended side angle. So bend that front knee. If you feel like you need to slide that back leg a little bit, do so you can really get into that left hip crease here. Again, we're going to take our hands out to a T. Take a full breath in. And then exhale, come back down. Once again, very similar to our triangle position. Really, really extending energy up through the fingertips of the right. You can really try to hug the left inner thigh to the left elbow there. And then if you'd like, you can extend that raised arm overhead. Draw the shoulders toward again. Take a breath here. And breathe it out. As you breathe in, again, engage the core. Come on up. And then exhale, hands back down. You can place your block again onto the floor. Rotate your feet so they're the long edge of the mat. So I'm just going to turn around now. So we've got sort of like a nice wide-legged position here. And then we're going to heel toe the feet back again. Hip distance apart. Find that stability here. Imagine energy going from the heels all the way up to the back of the legs, through the back of the spine and up through the crown. Finding stability here. We're going to do that sunrise stretch flow once again. So nice big inhale. So placing the palms, this time try and do the opposite way this time. So maybe you did the left hand in front of the right. Well, try right hand in front of the left. Same with the thumbs as well. Take an inhale. And then twist or turn the upper body over to the right. And then exhale, come down to the right side, into the middle. As you breathe in, we're going to come back up. Beautiful. Keep doing this with your breath. Keep stretching up. Really find some beautiful movement in the spine, but also engaging all those important muscles. Let's do that one last round. As you breathe in, come on up. And then exhale, let the hands come to the sides. Come to the top of the mat if you're not there yet. We are going to use your block once again, but sort of bring it to the side here so it's easy access. And we're just going to come on down to our bottom and keep the knees bent. Beautiful. Again, hip distance apart. I feel like I'm saying that a lot, but alignment is everything. Okay, so we're just going to do a revolved easy staff pose. So take your left hand behind you, and then your right hand can come onto the outside of the left knee. Now, if you'd like, you can even place a block in between your thighs to help to guide you as to how much you sort of need to keep that spacing in between. And then just really try to rotate that upper body. So as you breathe in, you're preparing. Find length in the spine. And as you breathe out, we're going to come over a little bit more, stretching over to the left. So it sort of feels like we're wringing out the back. And just keep breathing. Take a full breath in. And then as you exhale, you can unwind. Take it to the other side. So right hand behind you this time. Left hand on the outside of the right knee. Take a breath in as you sort of extend up through the spine. And then as you exhale, sort of twist a little more. So guiding your neck over toward the right shoulder. Keep the thighs firming against the block. Take a full breath in. And then unwind as you breathe out. Beautiful. Come on down to the floor on your back, keeping the block in between your thighs here. I'm going to come into a bridge pose with the assistance of the block so that you can really gauge how much you need to contract the thigh muscles here. So place your palms down onto the floor by your sides. Engage the core, take a big inhale and reach the hips up. So send the glutes up. And then exhale, allow the hips to slowly come back down. I'm going to do that a few times with the breath. Inhale. Keep hold of that block. Exhale. And 2 more times. Take an inhale. Exhale. One last one, big breath in. And breathe it out as you come down. Beautiful. Just pop your block to the side here. And then we're going to come into what's called banana pose, which is a funny pose name, but it actually almost does resemble a banana. So we're going to come back onto our backs. And our right foot is going to come up and over. So we're crossing our feet. And then you're going to shimmy the top part of your body over to the left. Okay, so you can sort of understand whilst you're doing this, you are starting to kind of create like a banana shape. Now with your hands, you're going to come up and overhead. So really just see if you can extend the arms as much as possible. Just going to hang out here for a bit. See if you can try and get the hips still grounded onto the floor. It's going to feel like a bit of an unusual position this way, but use your breath to let your body know that everything is okay. Take a full breath in and then exhale, bring your hands back down and then move your upper body back to center, uncross your feet and then cross them the other way. So this time left foot on top of right foot. Going to shimmy the upper body. So basically your hips stay where they are, but the upper body kind of goes over to the side, the right side this time. Take a big inhale and reach the arms up overhead. And again, allowing your body to just melt into this pose. So we're not really forcing anything here. We're just in this pose. Beautiful. Take a full breath in and release the hands down and then come back into center. Uncross your feet and then make your way into Shavasana. So use any support that you feel you need to for your spine. You might like to place something under the sacrum area where your tailbone is, like a folded blanket if that's comfortable. And place your hands wherever they're comfortable as well, maybe on the belly, on the chest, or by your sides. And when you are feeling incredibly comfortable, close your eyes and just bring awareness to any area of your body, not just your back, but your entire body that might be holding on to a bit of tension. Might be sort of resistant to wanting to let go into the support beneath you, and just see if you can use your breath and guide it to that part of the body and just let it relax and settle in. This is a really, really good pose to stay in for quite a while, to allow your spine and the muscles around the abdominal area, the shoulders, your obliques, all those wonderful muscles that really help and support the spine, to integrate everything that you have achieved throughout the practice today. And as I'd said earlier, this is a practice you can come back to regularly. Tend to that gorgeous back of yours. Find strength and flexibility. So I will leave you be in this pose. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you so much for showing up and caring for your gorgeous back. Namaste.